Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Audi RSQ8, and today we're gonna see what it's like to live with. Starting with the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the Audi parked with the front tires maybe 4 inches away from the edge, sitting next to my 1994 Toyota Land Cruiser, which I just gave a bath in preparation for some work that's going to be done to it at a local overlanding shop, so Mobile Mama and I can take it camping with our kiddos. And that truck is parked with just a couple inches there in spacing from the edge, and that does leave enough room to walk between the vehicles. The power folding door mirrors of the RSQ8 do help. We got a wagon through for our kiddos and the trash cans through on trash day. The nose of the RSQ8 is hovering over the gutter at the front of my driveway, and that leaves lots of space at the back for me to walk in front of the hedge on the path to my front door. When first hopping in with the key fob on me, if I put my hand on any of the 4 door handles, that will unlock all the doors. The door mirrors actually don't unfold until you start the car. This is the first defined notch of door opening, and that's actually plenty of room to get inside. However, since I have the space, I'm going to keep going, not to the second notch, but in fact, just to where I want to stop the door before I touch the slider steps of the cruiser. That gives me plenty of room to make my way in gracefully, and I didn't have to duck my head underneath the sill to get in. Closing that door, it will soft close the rest of the way. Hey cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 Audi RSQ8. In this video, I want to see what the RS badge and the 631 horsepower twin-turbo V8 that comes with that does to the livability of this vehicle. Does it make it too aggressive, or is it just adding the right amount of excitement? So let's begin by firing it up. The throatiness of that V8 is so good, but wow, the chimes are so loud. It actually disrupts the fun factor of the V8. Let's hear that idle from outside. Gosh. That is a luscious tone. And in fact, yes, it is very deep and it is pretty loud, but it's not crazy loud. So your neighbors, oh, there you go, and it settles down quickly. That was the cold start from overnight, so it quickly moved to a gentle idle. Your neighbors shouldn't be too disturbed if it's early in the morning or late at night. And I'll point out, I do have curb ramps set up there for the gutter clearance, but it's not necessary in the RSQ8. We've got plenty of ground clearance. And before we get rolling here, I do want to show you where I would stick the items I bring with me every day, like my iPhone 15 Pro, which can go amidst a few other items here in this console. I've got my slimline wallet and a granola bar, along with my sunglasses, because there isn't dedicated storage for those up above, but the center console is felt lined, so I'm not worried about scratching up the lenses. And that is going to use up all the space inside this small console. Thankfully, the door pockets are very large, so they can fit my 32-ounce water bottle, and my GoPro accessory case did go in the other door pocket. So the storage inside is salvaged by the large cubbies in the door. Now, as I throw on my seatbelt here, I'll note that the seat heater is already turned on, so it's warming my bottom gently. And if I also want the steering wheel heating on, I hit that icon. Oh, look at that. It's already heating the wheel. And the Alcantara wrapping feels so good on my hands. You've got the warmth and you have the gentle feel of the soft fibers. That's a win in my book. Pulling the gear selector back into drive, I do have to manually release the parking brake, or if I push on the accelerator, it will give up. And I'm going to roll out of here, feeling the gentle bump of the gutter and curb ramps, and I'm going to easily clear my neighbor's trash cans on trash day. And a heated wheel and heated or vented seats, depending on the weather, are not the only comforts I have when I'm first starting my day. I also have seat massage. My favorite part about that is how easy it is to turn on. Physical button here on the side. I don't have to hunt around the infotainment screen to find it. I just then choose on the screen which type of massage I want. The problems I have with the massage are that it's, one, only the back cushion. It should be the back and bottom cushion. And two, it times out after a while. And if you've seen my videos, you know that I want massage to stay on until I decide to turn it off, not the timeout. Now as I make my way to a coffee shop to grab a cup of decaf, of course, I'm in the comfort drive mode, and that mode pretty much puts the V8 on ice. It is making just a gentle burble from the exhaust, and the throttle response is more relaxed. I have to push my foot further into the pedal to rouse the performance, but there's so much power here that getting up to speed is still really easy. Then the ride compliance from these adaptive dampers and air springs, even paired with the 23-inch wheels of the optional RS design package, is seriously impressive. Though you do get moved around like the performance vehicle that it is, when you go over bumps, they don't rattle you. And that ability of the RSQ8 to be tranquil when you're just running errands or driving this leg of your commute is of high value, because you get the cool look of the big wheels and all the power, but you're not punished for it. And that's helped a bit by the seat comfort. These chairs are ergonomic in their shape, nicely supportive, but the bolsters aren't squeezing into my sides too much. I wish they had a little more adjustability to the height. Not that I don't have headroom above at 6 feet tall, there's plenty of that. It's really so I can feel more immersed in the drive. I feel like I'm sitting just a bit high up for that. And then the padding is soft enough for around town drives or a shorter highway commute, but it does feel a little firm after a long time in the saddle, so you may need to get out and stretch your legs, get that blood flowing. As for things like the turn signal sound, unlike the harshness of the startup chime volume, I do hear some squealing from the carbon ceramics, and it's actually a little tough to finesse those perfectly for a smooth stop. They're a bit grabby just up front, and then they kind of smooth things out. Anyway, the turn signal is not an abrasive tone. You can leave this on at a light for a while, and it's not going to upset you. The start-stop system is working right now. It shut off the V8 engine, and I didn't really feel that. I just heard the V8 tone cut out. Then if I take my foot off the brake, we again hear it come back on, but it didn't rattle the cabin at all. And now I'll get an opportunity to do a turning radius test. So I'll pull out just a little bit here before I fully turn the wheel. And pivot around easily. Thanks to the rear wheel steering system, it makes the RSQ8 so maneuverable in tighter spaces. But let's say you had to maneuver around someone making a boneheaded move on the road, and in the process, you're gonna blast your horn. What are they gonna hear? Oh, it's so gentle. It's not much of a blast at all. It's just polite, perhaps too polite. But my frustrations with bad driving will surely relent with a bit of coffee. So I'm gonna stop in here at Raised by Lions Coffee. That does mean I will need to park. So I'm going to reverse into this larger space right here. I've got margins on the sides. Press forward in the gear selector, full reverse, and that prompts a pretty high-res camera system with the bird's eye view off to the side and trajectory lines to negotiate my way back. You can hear the parking sensors at different tones, probably communicating how close. Yes, it's getting louder, more frustrated. Okay, that's real loud. If that was too annoying, by the way, I could just hit that button there and it would turn off. Thank goodness. All right, got my decaf latte with some cold foam on top and a sandwich because I'm getting kind of hungry. And I also got to meet Elliot and Riley back at the shop who are fans of MilesPerHr, so thank you guys so much for saying hi. And before I get back inside, I wanted to talk about the styling of the RSQ8 briefly, because if you're going to live with this vehicle, sorry, no, do your thing.
No, I'm just curious, what's this about?
Oh, I have a YouTube channel, so I just make car videos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, just talking about how it looks. What do you think?
I don't like the color, but I like the style.
I agree with you 100%. I'm not really a red car person. I'm more of a blue car person, but I think it does look cool. So as Teresa said, the chili red metallic is not my favorite color for this vehicle. I think the dark blue or even a black looks better with the Audi styling language. This vehicle did get a facelift for 25, and it has some optional carbon fiber like the surround of the enlarged grille, the front splitter, the door mirror caps, and the diffuser around back. That helps it stand out a little bit more, but not quite as in your face as the Urus. These 23-inch wheels also grab some attention. They're in a matte black finish, and those are just around the giant carbon ceramic brakes with optional red painted calipers. Overall, I think it walks that line nicely of standout styling, but not an almost embarrassing attention-grabbing effort. Delicious. And now that I am decaffeinated, I want to give the RSQ8 its first practicality test. So I'm making a run here to Costco. And this is a good time to mention that I don't always need stuff for my family. So I was told about a charity called Families Forward where I can buy things from Costco and give them to people in need. So that's what I'm doing today. All right, got a couple items for my family and a lot more for the charity. So how's all this gonna fit in the RSQ8? Wow, this trunk is actually huge. I'm optimistic that I can get all this in there without needing to fold down the rear seats at all. And to make my life a bit easier, I'm gonna lower the air suspension system as far as it will go so that I'm not having to hike up the heavy stuff as high. Look at that squat. What a difference. The optimism was not unfounded. I managed to fit all the canned goods and cereals and pull-ups and paper products in this trunk. The only thing that was just a bit too wide was the awning. That was for us, not the charity. And that did fit in the passenger footwell thanks to the low drive shaft hump, almost at the same level as the seat bottoms. And if it were just car seats back here, well, Romy in a rear-facing seat wouldn't mind. Talia would just have to put her legs on top of that awning. Now for the moment of truth. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, the paper goods. I think I'm just gonna have to help out the trunk a little bit here. There we go, soft close, and it fits. Now, after returning my cart like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the Audi RSQ8 is Costco approved. And because I just loaded the vehicle, this is a good time to mention visibility. So the view at the front is excellent. No issues with the sight lines. The A-pillars aren't too thick. Side glass is nice and large. B-pillar not that thick. The C-pillar is very wide, but the headrests overlap it, so it's not a redundant point of compromised visibility. And because of how the trunk absorbed all those Costco goods, the view out the back isn't compromised at all. And there is blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic. Today, I'm off to play golf with my friend from church, but not before I make a small detour to dabble in the performance. So we're gonna see about a real world 0 to 60 test first. I've got my race box set up here to record. I'm in the RS drive mode with sport traction control. That will enable launch, holding my foot on the brake, pinning the throttle. It is activated. Let's go. No. And there's 60 in 3.30 seconds. Modern performance SUVs are just silly. In a great way. And that's just the start. Because if you would ever be tempted to take a Urus canyon carving on the weekends, you should feel just as tempted in the RSQ8. Especially now that the RSQ8 gets the same mechanical center locking diff, and in concert with the limited slip differential at the rear, it just sends power around so quickly to all four tires and so intelligently to turn this into a rapid corner carver. Gosh darn it, the 631 horsepower is utilized to its full extent. Oh, it's so fast. And then those carbon ceramics come in clutch to cut the speed right when you need to. The steering's pretty good as well. It's light, but talkative enough that I feel in tune with how the Audi is changing direction. My goodness. This is so good to drive. I mean, forget the weekends. I would find excuses to cut out early from work. Sorry, boss. My dog is having diarrhea. I need to get home now. And then I would take the long way and enjoy every second of it. This is so good. But I'm not tempted to play around with the paddles much in manual mode. Not because the gearbox isn't solid. Goes all the way out to redline and shifts quickly. It's the fact that the paddles are made from cheapy plastic, and in a vehicle that's $160,000 as tested. Come on, aluminum, please. Oh, the time. Yeah, I really need to get to golf. I don't want Raphael to wait for me. And also, I hear there's great food. Let's go. I have made it to the Arroyo Trabuco Golf Club. Let's hit the sticks. The festivities begin with a breakfast burrito, and this one's from Taqueria Oi, which is my friend Raphael's food business. Can't wait to try it. Oh, the chorizo, it's so good. The question is gonna be, will this fuel me up for today or slow me down? I don't care, it's tasty. Now I'm gonna go hit some practice balls at the range, because, well, I need practice. So this is going to be a 4-person scramble tournament for the Orange County Soccer Club, who is sponsored by Raphael's Restaurant. All right, here's our group. This is the man, Raphael. Right. You guys ready to play? Oh, yeah, we got Tim over here, and then the guys from Food Beasts, Eli, Josh, and then we got Derek. He's my cart mate. You ready, Derek? Good to see you. Let's play some mediocre golf. Yeah. We're being tailgated. This is our carts, and it is not fast. And on every downhill, it pulls on strong regen braking. Pretty quick in the turn in. I like that. No steering feel whatsoever. Instant acceleration though.
I don't know, I'm ready to say that.
We're under attack.
Oh, there you go. Wow. That was great.
Come on, come on, come on.
Oh.
By far the fanciest way I've ever eaten brisket before. You know, I'm no golf pro, but I don't think you can park here. Though, this DBX 707 does look fantastic. What do you think of the color, Tim?
I think it's amazing. I don't. What kind of green is it, dude?
It's like a snake green. I feel like this belongs on a Viper. Food Beast is never far from food.
Hey, nice shot, Miles. There you go.
Get in the hole. Looks good, dude.
Come on, come on, come on. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, that was a ton of fun. I'm so thankful that Raphael invited me. The food, the play, the weather was cooperating. We even didn't do that bad. As a group, we got 3 under par. The winners got 10 under par, but you know, not bad. I do like the key slot here, by the way, and I'm bummed that you don't get a wireless charging pad. I forgot to point that out. So this just sits there, but then it doesn't charge at all. Anyway, now it's time for my drive home. And unfortunately, at 5:30 p.m., that does mean there's gonna be some traffic. But before we get to the traffic, we have the passing power, and I can access that quickly with a pullback on the gear selector to sport transmission, and oh! Yeah, you spot a gap and you get there urgently and enjoy it. And then when you have arrived at the lane of your choosing, we could quiet up and listen to the cabin volume. Which on this louder road surface, it's a concrete slab, does generate some tire noise. The road noise is present as well. Wind noise isn't bad at all. But yeah, this surface is not doing the RSQ8 any favors in terms of cabin volume. It's still not loud. It's well insulated, and the optional dual pane glass does help. And the fact that it is a more intimate cabin than a full-size SUV means that you won't need to shout for people in the second row to hear you, and certainly not for your passenger right next to you. And if I wanted to completely block out the outside noise, I'd listen to the optional Bang & Olufsen 3D advanced sound system equipped to this RSQ8, and I'll access that via the wireless Apple CarPlay. And even though it's just a touchscreen, it doesn't have a physical dial to control it down here, it does have this haptic feedback, so when you press on the screen, there's an audible click to tell you your message has been received, and that can cut down a little bit on driver distraction. So let me pull up Spotify, get the tunes going. Physical volume knob here, glad to see that. It's also a tuner. Dial it up to, it's about 50, maybe 60% right there. That is a high fidelity sound system. I mean, plenty of wattage, didn't need to go past 60 or 65% of peak output. The clarity was there, I had a nice tonal range. The bass was a little on the lighter side, would have appreciated a bit more punch, but it's really solid and it definitely cut out all that outside chatter. Unfortunately, it looks like I have caught up to that traffic, but this could kind of simulate a drive home from work, your commute, where you will be relying on some of the driver assistance features like adaptive cruise control. So I can set my speed, adjust my following distance, and then using the lane centering assist, I can just demonstrate that it will stay in the center of the lane here, but it's not a hands-free highway driving system like BMW is offering or GM with their Super Cruise system. It does want your hands on the wheel at all times, but it's correcting me. So this is helpful, and especially the adaptive cruise, so I don't have to go to the throttle or brake for this stop and go traffic. Much more relaxing. Today, I'm bringing some of those new parts for the Land Cruiser to Rack Attack to start the build, and this piece is very long, so I will need to fold down at least some of the rear seats, and unfortunately, confoundingly, in this $160,000 as tested SUV, there are not electronic release controls or even manual releases for the rear seats, so I have to go around, pull on this lever, and lower it down. Now I can just slide that in and head to the shop. And look who it is! Mobile Mama in the Land Cruiser. You look good in that truck.
It's falling apart. We need a new one.
Yes, the hood latch release did just break right when she was trying to get the oil changed, but we're carrying on to Rack Attack. But before the guys from Rack Attack get to work on the Land Cruiser, let's have a little warm-up launch control in the RSQ8.
Sucks you in.
Okay.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah,
God.
dude, that's sweet.
That was insane.
It's approved by Rack Attack. Okay, I think I've established by now what it's like to live with this vehicle as a driver, but what about rear passengers? First, an adult. Behind my seat at 6 feet, I've got loads of knee room, large foot pockets, thigh support, headroom here under this suede wrapped headliner. I also have sunshades on both sides, power sunshades at that, a 4-zone climate control system, rear heated seats, I wish they were also ventilated, and I wish they reclined further than that. There are 2 USB-C ports down there and a DC outlet and an armrest if no one is sitting in the middle seat. But here's the thing, because that drive shaft hump is low, someone actually could fit here with headroom if they're not wearing a hat cam and some space on either side for other adults. But what about kids in car seats? Mobile Mama did need to use our forward-facing seat to take Talia to soccer practice, but we did install that in the RSQ8, and having the 3 lower latch anchors there with the adjusting headrests made it simple. We do have our rear-facing seat, and we have 2 sets of lower latch anchors to install it. My only complaint with these is that the plastic clips just come off, so you could easily lose them. But anyway, rear-facing seat is installed with space behind the front seat, and as the front passenger, I am fully stretched out and comfortable. The RSQ8 is family approved. But man, is Audi in love with gloss black. It's on all these panels here, and it's really the only trim that has a livability drawback because it collects dust like crazy. It's easy to scratch and shows all these fingerprints. Everything else is great. The matte carbon fiber trim and the suede with red stitching and the leather on all the surfaces. Might I suggest anthracite wood Audi instead of gloss black? That would really help. It is just about time to refuel this 22.5 gallon tank, and the EPA rates the RSQ8 at 14 mpg city, 20 on the highway, and 16 combined. If I did see that 16, then I'd have a fuel range of 360 miles. Unfortunately, over the last 316 miles, I've been seeing 10.6 miles per gallon. And at current fuel prices of $5.37 for the required 91 octane gas, it's gonna cost me $120 to fill this tank, and there isn't capless fueling, so I have to work just a little bit harder. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered how the RS badge and monster engine would affect the Q8's livability. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, it would appear they enhance fun without any real trade-off. The power is plentiful but manageable. The soundtrack varies from soft to ferocious. The ride is sublime, even on the stiffened suspension with oversized wheels, and the passenger and cargo space is terrific. So maybe the fuel economy is a lot worse than a 6-cylinder Q8, but none of the other fumbles of the RSQ8 have anything to do with the RS badge. The lack of power folding rear seats, a wireless charging pad, or hands-free highway driving is just surprising at $160,000 as tested. Still, it's got the Lamborghini Urus driving experience in a less attention-grabbing package for $100,000 less. If that sounds like a good deal, then I think you found your family SUV. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life. I will see you again next time.